Welcome to Haunt Weekly. Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction and haunted entertainment industry. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we're sorry.
Just going straight into the apologies.
Look, there's no beating around the bush on this one. We're sorry. We're very, very sorry with this episode. But to be honest, we felt this was an episode that was important to do from literally episode 1.
Right.
It's been on the topic list since we started this podcast over a year ago.
Right.
And we've put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off some more. But today we're doing it.
Yeah.
May God have mercy on our pathetic, miserable
Basically,
souls.
what we really wanted to talk about, we're going to wait until we can get someone on the podcast to talk about it with us. So then we had to come up with something else.
And then we dug deep, scraping the bottom of the barrel. No, not really.
No, this
it's not really quite that
bottom.
bad. And it's not really quite that bad because, like I said, we had come up with this topic idea way, way before. And it is actually an important one.
Right.
But yeah, we're not pleased about talking about. We're talking about the film, the fake documentary, The Houses October Built.
Yes.
A film that features the haunted attraction industry, and specifically, and this is the part that gets to us, the haunted attraction industry local to us.
Yes.
In film format.
Right.
And
we should start off, as usual.
Oh, with conference reminders. Let's do conference reminders so we can have some happy thoughts before we get into this this terrible, unfortunate film, right? Crystal, will you please begin the conference reminders?
Sure. We start off February 18th through 19th, Windy City Haunters, Oaklawn, Illinois. It'll be held at the Midnight Terror Haunted House. Tickets are just $20. How, if you're not in the area, have you not gotten a ticket yet?
Yeah,
seriously.
If you're in the Chicago area and you have not already picked this one up, that's on you, not me.
Yep.
Just tell me.
It includes free classes, a mixer, and an after party. WindyCityHaunters.com will take you to their Facebook page because that's where all the really good information is.
Yeah, seriously, don't waste your time with the domain. Well, if that's not your cup of tea, in St. Louis, Missouri, March 23rd through 26th is Transworld's Halloween and Attraction Show. Their early bird discounts of $50 off until pretty much the day of. It's buy online, don't buy at the door, basically you're fine. But interestingly enough, new this year, Escape Room City. 25% of the showroom floor dedicated to escape rooms. If you're thinking about escape rooms, curious about escape rooms, want to start an escape room, want to visit an escape room, this might be a good attraction for you to go to. You can learn more at the HA Show, the HAASHOW.com.
And then, continuing with Room Escapes,
why not?
May 1st through the 5th, we have Room Escape Conference and Tour in Niagara Falls, New York, Niagara Falls Conference and Event Center. Tours of 5 Wits, Escape Games Canada. That means take your passports and whatever else you need to get across the
Canadian border. You can use the passport cards, but if you're going to apply for that, you might as well apply for your passport.
And they will be also touring Locked Up Escape Games. Conference is 1st through the 3rd, and the tours are the 4th through the 5th. You can find out more about them at roomescapeshow.com.
Indeed, very interesting convention if you're into room escapes. After that, May 12th through the 14th is the West Coast Haunters Convention in Portland, Oregon, at the Doubletree Hotel. They'll be touring the Hour to Midnight Room Escape, the Labyrinth Room Escape, and the Escapism Room Escape. You can learn more at hauntersconvention.com.
Then, May 19th through the 21st, we have Premier Haunted Attractions Tour and Education Series. That'll be in Dallas, Texas. Mm-hmm. They'll be touring the Reindeer Manor and Dark Hour Haunted House, and it's presented by the people at Transworld.
Yeah, should be a very interesting conference. for those here in the more southerly parts of the United States, or I should say the more Texas parts, because Texas really does consider itself very much separate from the South in its own way.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. After that, June 8th through 11th, it's the Midwest Haunters Convention in Columbus, Ohio, at the greatest,
It might be the greatest.
It might be the greatest. It probably is the greatest, honestly. But at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. They'll be touring the Scaratorium with other tours TBA. You can learn more at MidwestHauntersConvention.com. And I'm going to just assume it is the greatest Columbus Center because I don't think there are many others.
I'm going to totally, look that up and fact check you.
No, you won't.
Okay.
No, you won't.
Midsummer Scream is next, July 29th and 30th. That was Midsummer Scream, in case you couldn't hear over Jonathan. It's going to be in Long Beach, California at the Long Beach Convention Center. It's put on by Creepy LA and Theme Park Adventure. There are a few details right now, but it's a long ways off. So look at midsummerscream.org for info as it becomes available.
And speaking of conventions, we don't have a lot of information on August 4th through 5th. It's Haunt Fair, that's Faire, in Ronkonkoma, New York. I just love saying that name.
Once you finally got how to do it.
It just feels good to say Ronkonkoma, New York. There's a haunted bus tour on Friday. There's a haunted bus tour of scary and spooky haunted places.
Yes, a bus that goes to haunted places, not a haunted bus.
Yes, basically.
Yes.
And you can learn more at haunt-faire.com, hauntfair.com.
Okay, and then August 5th through 6th, we have Scare LA. It's in Los Angeles. Exact locations unknown. Not a lot's known at all. But you can look for more information on scarela.com. And finally, August 25th through the 27th, we have Halloween and Haunt Fest show. It's going to be in Dallas-Fort Worth Mesquite Convention Center. No updates yet, but check out halloweenandhaunt.com for information as it becomes available. Also, if you have any, if we've missed any,
yes,
and you want to send it to us.
If your favorite conference, a conference you're putting on, a conference you're attending, a conference you otherwise give a goddamn about,
right,
but did not hear it on this list, let us know. We are not gods. We do not know every conference. We depend upon you for our information. Why are you laughing at the idea that we are not gods? I thought that was a pretty straightforward statement.
I was thinking more we're not search engines, but
Neither, well, that's true too. We're not any of these things. We are not robots of any stripe. Haunt Weekly, Podcast Sexy 3 commence.
Okay.
Anyways, but the point is, let us know at Haunt Weekly on Twitter or Haunt Weekly on Facebook. Shoot us a message, leave us a comment, let us know. Send us a DM. We get all those things, and we do include them, and we appreciate the information as we get it.
Yep.
Alright, so that concludes conference reminders, unfortunately.
Are you sure there isn't anything else we can talk about to draw this out a little bit more?
God.
Brand new conference just came in.
Oh, good news, everyone. There's the Haunt Conference at Random Town, USA.
Yeah.
No, there's not, unfortunately. Yeah. I really, really wish there were. I really wish we didn't have to talk about this. And that's part of the problem is we've put this topic off so long. It is indeed an obligation in some ways.
Yeah.
But it is a messy obligation.
Well, and it is important because one of the things that we've mentioned and we talked about is how the haunt industry is represented in media. Mm-hmm. And this delves right into that.
Now, for those who are not familiar with this film, God bless your soul.
Yeah.
May God help you.
Yeah.
And please turn off this podcast right now.
Yeah. Please,
you've already counted as a listen. You're fine.
You could listen to us talk about it and then not have to watch it. It's your choice.
You know, she got a point on this one too.
Yeah.
But the point remains: the Houses October Bill was a film released in 2014. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I thought it was far older than that.
No.
But it's 2014. And it's actually a remake of an earlier film that we're not discussing the early film because we've never seen it.
And it was in 2011.
Yeah, so it's not like super old or anything like that.
No.
But the point of the matter is, it's one of those found footage fake documentaries.
Yeah.
A la Blair Witch.
Yeah. Fake-umentary.
Yeah, fake-umentary. Ooh, I like that. Because mockumentary indicates it's a parody, like Spinal Tap.
This definitely isn't that.
It's not that, so it's a fake-umentary. I like that. Did you just come up with that?
Yes.
Can we talk about the term fake-umentary for the next 40 minutes? I would really appreciate that. I could probably do it too.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a false documentary about haunted attractions, specifically haunted attractions in West Texas and Louisiana. Now, we being based in New Orleans might have a little bit of experience with some of these attractions.
A little bit, yeah.
A wee little bit less.
Yeah, less than I was expecting going into watching it. Now we
second time.
Yeah. We heard about this film because we were standing in line waiting to get in at Rise.
Yes, Rise, by the way, in Hammond, Louisiana. Hammond, say it with me, Louisiana.
Yeah.
In southeast Louisiana, basically about as far away from Texas as you can get.
Yes, not in Eureka, Texas, which is where it...
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Anyway, we were in line waiting to go in, and they were showing clips of it, and we're like, oh... What is this?
They had a documentary filmed at Rise?
Yeah.
We must see this film.
Yes, because we've watched several documentaries and other films about the haunted
and interestingly enough, when we had seen this footage at Rise, we had just got watching the Hell House documentary about the Hell House in West Texas.
Right.
And so we just got off of watching one documentary about a haunted attraction, and needless to say, we're going to probably never talk about that one because
we did Hell Houses.
We did a whole thing about Hell Houses, and we mentioned the documentary, but we're not dedicating a whole episode to Hell House, the documentary, are we? Please tell me we're not doing that.
No, I think we covered that topic.
There's not enough rum in this house to get me through this.
Yes. Apparently there's not enough rum in this house to get you through this.
And that's probably true too, but that's not the point. The point remains that we were curious about it, so we watched it.
Right.
And this was way back, about a year after it came out. It was one of those straight-to-DVD/Netflix releases.
Right.
We saw it, and we were aboard.
Pretty much, yeah.
We were terrified, mortified, petrified.
Well, and the reason is that it puts the haunted house industry as a legitimately dangerous industry.
Yes.
Like, it oh my gosh.
Okay,
there's so much wrong.
Well, okay, whoa. We got a long podcast here. Maybe we should, drop back 10 and punt.
All right.
And talk about, the premise of this movie. Because these nice folks who are unfortunately listening about this have not actually seen this film. God bless their souls.
If you haven't seen it. If you have, I'm sorry.
I'm deeply sorry. I didn't even film that movie. I had nothing to do with the movie, and I'm sorry for you. But yes, the film basically follows a group of friends who go on a quote-unquote cross-country, by which we mean to state.
Yes. Well, they're looking for the biggest, most extreme haunted house in the world by RV.
Yeah, by RV. By the way,
and what was it? 21 days?
Yeah, 21. And no, 5 days. They only had 5 days.
Jeez.
Well, I said I would do it in 21 days. They did it in 5.
I think I would probably do it in more than that.
I would do it in more than that too. Look, if anyone wants to fund a Kickstarter to send me and Crystal on this similar jet-setting tour of haunts where we're doing interviews and stuff, totally down for this.
Yes.
But this is not it.
No. I have a couple of weeks I can take off.
The long and short of it is they leave some abstract point in Texas.
Yeah.
And then go on this mystical, magical tour where they... God, the B-roll footage from this film is terrible to me because living in New Orleans and seeing shows like NCIS New Orleans or Kville or so forth, we get used to seeing our city and our region in an inaccurate light.
Yes.
We really do. Like I remember watching the very first episode of Kville with you, because that was a big deal. It was right after Katrina when it came out. Yeah. It was a big deal for us.
Yeah, locally it was huge.
It was a huge deal. Even though that show went nowhere, it was locally a big deal.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that first police chase they had, and watching them across the Mississippi River Bridge 6 times to have a police chase that began and ended about 6-7 blocks.
Yeah.
From something like that.
Yeah,
from each other.
It was pretty silly.
So I'm used to it, but the B-roll footage in this is beyond painful because I recognize a lot of the spots in the B-roll footage, and realize they are not actually traveling anywhere.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, it's a fake documentary where they go from haunt to haunt, and I gotta say this right off the bat, I'm kind of very cool with the concept of, hey, we're gonna find this mystical, magical haunted house that totally like hurts people and stuff, as long as they portray the real haunts in a sort of organic or reasonable light.
Right. And that's just it. The premise of the story that they're trying to follow is not bad.
Yes, I agree with that.
And if it were just that story being told, it wouldn't be bad.
Right.
But they do interviews in it.
Yes.
And they do supposed news footage.
Yes. Well, I mean, literally one of the first things you see in the film is news footage. Quote unquote news. I mean, I'm doing the air quotes. You can't see it. I'm sorry. It's a podcast, not a YouTube. But the point of the matter is they do this YouTube thing. When they're talking about the 17-year-old who worked in a haunted attraction and died because she replaced the noose with a real noose because she was a dumb idiot.
Well, yeah, she was doing the hanged person.
Yes. And then a 20-year-old registered sex offender was arrested for working at a haunted house and supposedly molesting children.
Right, and that was supposedly in Canyon County.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We're all familiar with the story of the people who were accidentally hanged doing hangman's gag.
Right.
We know that it happened years ago. It was a real thing.
Yeah. And it still happens every once in a while, usually in someone's front yard. And in fact, the second news clip that they showed of someone
hanging themselves accidentally.
Yeah. Yes. Was from a suburban-looking area.
Yeah, it was basically someone. Not even. I don't even use the term home haunt because I don't want to. Want to malign home haunters such as us.
I think they were just trying to do a display, and went terribly awry.
Which is why most haunted attractions know that if you're doing a hanged man or hanged person gag, you have like 80 bajillion safety protocols you follow.
Yeah.
We're smarter about this.
Yes.
Than this movie. So. But the point remains that this is sort of a recurring theme in this. They do things to advance the story. They go to a haunted attraction, they meet spooky characters, and then they intersperse it with interviews with supposed actual haunted attraction actors who go on to basically malign the industry in horrible ways.
Yeah.
Is that a fairly accurate descriptor of the film?
That is fairly
Well, good news,
accurate.
we can knock off early. It's only the 18-minute mark. We're done, right?
Yay!
Yay! Woohoo!
Yeah. So, and it also gives bad statistics because, it says things like there are 2,500 haunted attractions that open each season.
Is that true?
No.
Oh, our own little PolitiFact here. Hang on.
There are more than...
our own Snopes? Would you be Snopes or PolitiFact? I'm calling you Snopes.
Okay, that's
You're Snopes. You're our Snopes now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Snopes.
I'm Hopes.
Oh.
For Haunter Snopes.
I like that. Cheers.
So yeah, there's more than 4,000 actually that are charging admission or charity haunts according to AmericaHaunts.com. Mm-hmm. That's the latest figures.
Yes.
So.
And I don't think they changed. This film, like I said, was released in 2014. I seriously don't think I know we're a growing industry. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think we've grown goddamn near 100%.
No.
I mean, they said 2,500, so like 75%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they also said that, but like the worst part for me was the actors repeatedly said, there's no rules, no regulations.
Yeah.
We are one of the most regulated industries in this nation. Yeah. From a federal level, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so. We're also, one of the safer ones. We take that shit seriously. And for someone who's making this supposed documentary, because they did, show it as being that. To come out and say, hey, there are no rules, they're beyond the law kind of stuff. There's nobody making sure that you're safe when you go to these. That, to me, is offensive.
It is. It's very... And they also talked about how we haunt owners and haunt actors, have these chat rooms and message boards where, quote-unquote, and this is going to earn our mature rating, sorry, but we want to be accurate for the quotes, where crazy shit goes on.
Yeah. Well, and we do have, pretty much every haunt now has a community Facebook.
Yeah,
that's a private group.
A private group,
It's
yes.
an actor group. Mm-hmm. But you don't see crazy shit going on.
And we do have public forums, too. We do have forums. I participate in some of them myself.
Yeah.
Usually there's more questions about how do we appease the fire marshal.
Right.
And how do we make people more scared. It's more stuff like that.
Yeah. It's... Yeah.
Yeah, and this really drives me absolutely bonkers. Because, long story short, is the actors and the people in this film talk about how there's quote-unquote shady stuff. There's no background checks.
Yeah.
You could be literally being, fondled by a pedophile in a haunted house.
Yeah.
That's actually a theme in this movie. I'm not exaggerating or hyperbolizing here.
Right.
And yeah, these guys, this group is all about, and it's Blue Skeleton that they're after, right?
Yeah, Blue Skull.
Blue Skull.
They use several different names.
But they're on the trail of this mythical haunted house called Blue Skeleton. Blue Skeleton, that supposedly is like, and the way they describe it is like the Darkness or McCamey Manor type stuff.
Yeah, but it's also a pop-up haunt.
Yeah.
It pops up for one night only. You have to have an invitation. You have to figure out how to get the invitation, and then it's all willy-nilly.
Yeah, and so. it's a bit bizarre. I mean, from a pure geographic perspective, I found a lot of this offensive because, like I said, significant portions of this were shot in Rise,
right?
Which is literally a haunt we go to every year.
Yeah.
And we happen to know where it is.
Yeah.
Because, we go to it. That's a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah.
It's in Hammond, by the way, or near Hammond, I should say.
Right. Yeah, and, whenever... Yeah, Rise is one of those interesting stories for us because, we'll go and we'll have a great year, and then we can't wait to be back, and then we go the next year, and it's like...
why were we all pumped about this?
Yeah, but then the next year it's, oh yeah, this is why. So it's like, but and they've got some great people there. We've spent some time talking to them.
Yeah.
And they have a new attraction this year that was just
Asylum,
awesome. Yeah.
Talking about the future of haunting.
Yeah, but one of the things that the movie does bring up that I really appreciated was that they touched on, they didn't really go into it in depth, but the pressure to deliver a more extreme fear response because the world is so extreme that it's hard to create any kind of fear response.
Yeah, that was definitely a recurring theme.
Yeah.
Was this idea of we have to go harder. Like the stuff you did in the JC haunt era doesn't fly no more.
Exactly.
That was a recurring theme in talking about how do we scare people harder. Now, where I disagree with House the film was they seem to say it was by doing absolutely abhorrent stuff like actually kidnapping people and torturing them.
Yeah.
Which is not what we do as an industry. No. Outside of, once again, McCamey Manor, the Blackout, and sort of those...
The outliers.
The outliers. And, I don't like to disparage anybody.
Right.
But I don't think they're representative of haunted attractions.
Right.
We as an industry have found ways to provide greater and greater scares without putting people in additional danger.
Right.
We have adopted new technology. We've adopted new scare techniques. We have found new approaches that don't actually involve, hurting people.
Right. Yeah. Playing with different senses, you know. the big thing just in our going to haunted houses was the really increased use of smells.
Yes.
You know, that's just really starting to take off still, and I don't think it's at its peak. I'm still not seeing it at every single haunted house in Omaha. So,
and also more immersive and interactive experiences.
Right.
Actors, even if they don't touch you, they interact with you, play with you, work with you, and make you part of the scene. That is a big deal. That is something that wasn't always there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, my earliest haunted attraction experiences, you were literally the audience for a scene.
Right.
You would be funneled in, all of you. You would sit there and you would watch a scene.
Yeah.
And you would be like literally separated from the scene by a wall. And you're like, ooh, that's scary. Okay, we're moving on now. And now it's like you are a part of the sequence. You are a character. And like the asylum, going back to what Rise was doing, you are literally a patient at this asylum.
Right.
And if you are stupid like me, you will definitely down the Tic Tacs in the little plastic cup because you're a moron and will eat anything given to you and then really question your gullibility later.
Yeah.
Just saying. This might be a trauma I had.
Yeah.
But the point remains, we have found ways to do that, to heighten that, and to involve people that do not put them in greater danger.
Right. Yeah, and still stick to all of our regulations and keep everybody as safe as possible.
We are a very, very regulated industry, and what I hear more from haunters, especially on the haunt forums, is fire marshal wants this, and people and the police want that, and so forth. We need more security. We need wider walkways. We need better fire detection. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a million things about improving safety.
We need to go to LEDs because they're not as hot.
Yeah. We can't do any fog machines because it's fake smoke.
And it's going to set off the smoke alarm.
Rise, looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear these things all the time. What we don't hear is that, we totally kidnapped and molested that woman that came through last week.
Yeah.
And because that doesn't flipping happen.
Right. And I mean, and that's one of the things that I really don't like about this film, because whenever they're talking to the actors, they're like, okay, so how far will you go to scare somebody?
Yeah.
And I could tell that it's edited in such a way to get the most impactful sentence and completely loses context before it, because they're like, oh yeah, we'll go right up to killing them, and it's like, no, you don't do that.
One actor literally said in this film, and I'm just going to paraphrase here, I'm not going to quote.
Excuse me, guys.
They will break their legs and back. There's no stopping point.
Yeah.
I believe was an almost exact quote.
Yeah, and that's just... Yeah, gang rape was also mentioned towards the end. So it's like, no. That doesn't happen. It couldn't, because if it did, the cops would be called and the place would be shut down.
And here's the thing. If you've listened to this podcast over the past 60-odd episodes, and you've heard us do the news every 4 weeks...
Yeah.
we have talked about every incident where something bad happened at a haunted attraction, even if it wasn't the haunted attraction's fault.
Right.
We talked about that poor kid getting hit by an SUV that wasn't the haunt's fault.
Right.
We've talked about incidents where haunts were cleared of damages because someone scared them and the patron tripped and fell in the parking lot.
Right.
We've talked about a variety of incidents that were not the haunt's fault. We would definitely be the first ones to alert you.
Yeah.
If there was a haunt out there raping people,
we
would be the front line on that. And the front lines are criticizing it too, obviously.
Yeah, because it just doesn't happen.
But that's just it. It doesn't happen.
And it's, I read some of an interview with the director and producer. Well, because when we were watching it with Ellie, she made a point that these guys didn't seem like they had a love of haunted houses or liked haunted house people.
I would agree with that.
So I looked it up, because that's what I do.
Our Snopes here are on staff.
And apparently, They actually were working with these houses for about 5 years. And so in 5 years, they got to know them. They used the term haunt family. They used being brought into the family, So they know what they're putting out there is complete bullshit.
Yeah. We're definitely earning our explicit rating this week, by the way.
Yeah, well,
That's fine.
it's happened before. It's okay.
It's okay. We actually keep it for a reason for these types of episodes.
Yeah.
Not the ones where I say random asshole or something on the podcast. This is the reason right here.
Yeah. But, so they know and like the industry, and yet they're putting it in such a bad light. Yeah. And I think that that's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I know it's wrong. Because I agree with the plot of this, as we've discussed. I love the idea of going and finding this mystical, magical, haunted attraction that is actually haunted and stuff. That's great, because we are an industry that lives on the mythos.
Right.
We live off that. Yeah. And that by itself is awesome. But when you involve real world haunted attractions, Rise is a real world. There were other haunts in there that were real world.
There was Zombieland was represented.
Yeah, and Terrorplex.
Zombie Manor, Terrorplex.
And a couple of others. I'm not familiar with
Cowboy Palace.
Yeah. Which is a bar, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is a bar in Hammond that I am still about 85% sure I've been to at some point.
No, that one was in Tyler, actually.
Oh.
The one in Hammond was...
D&D.
Yes.
You're right. That's the one I'm 85% sure I've been to. Granted, though, if I've been to a bar, that means I was drinking. Here go ipso facto. I can't be trusted.
Yes.
But still, the point remains. There were real-world businesses involved in this. And that... it just drives me bonkers.
Yeah, because whenever you take the fake and the real and you mix them together, it becomes more believable.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that you're trying to portray this as a real scenario. And this clearly isn't.
No.
And it puts the industry in a really bad light.
Yeah,
and I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it does.
You know what? It's maybe a necessary broken record in some ways. Because that's the real problem with this film, is that it takes real actual haunted houses.
Right.
And tells you that there are pedophiles, there are people working there that don't pass background checks or couldn't pass background checks, and there are no rules and all that.
Well, and they actually interviewed one of the owners of one. I think it might have been the Haunt House, the first one that they went to. And they said, no, we don't perform background checks. And granted, a lot of people in the industry may not.
Yeah.
But why aren't we? Why don't we do that? Because it seems like something that we may want to start doing if we aren't.
Well, a lot of the bigger haunts do, to be fair.
Yeah.
They do, and they should, and that's something that should be continued. But yeah, because
I don't understand the point of this film.
No.
Because people who are interested in haunted houses know what a haunted house is. They know where their local ones are.
Yes.
This is not promoting haunted houses.
I would like to say, if you are in another region and like haunted houses and don't understand all these haunted houses that were featured, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you straightforward. As someone from this area, it's all bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, it's okay.
I had to on that one.
Yeah, so it's not to promote haunted houses. And it's not to uncover the underbelly of haunted houses.
No.
Or the haunt industry, because it's a fake underbelly that they're presenting.
Yes.
So I don't understand the point of why someone who loves the industry would make a film that's so negative towards it and possibly damaging.
And that's the thing. We as an industry thrive upon perceived fear.
Yes.
You know, one of the reasons, like, when I hear about haunts, like, exploiting the mythos of that haunted attraction that would give you your ticket back if you got through and all that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
We live off mythos. We live off legend. But that legend is not supposed to be things that are actually real and terrifying in the here and now.
Right.
You know, pedophiles and people that will rape and hurt you, like really hurt you,
Yeah.
are a real threat here and now.
Yeah.
That's a real life thing.
Right.
And we don't need that in our haunt. We're supposed to live off mythical fear. Things that you're not supposed to be afraid of, but we make you afraid of it because we're that freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be afraid of zombies and werewolves and vampires and all that stuff, or, you know, just demons or clowns or anything, but we're going to make you afraid of it.
Right.
Because we are that good. That's the contract between the customer and the haunt. They agree to let us make them scared.
Yes.
And we make them scared. We give them something to be afraid of.
Right. Without actually hurting them.
Yes.
Because that's the other part of that contract.
Yes. I use the roller coaster analogy all the time.
Yeah.
If a roller coaster hurt or killed 1% of its customers,
yeah,
would you go on that roller coaster?
No.
No. There's no goddamn way. You couldn't pay me enough money to go on that roller coaster. The risk is too high.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that people do get hurt going on roller coasters. Accidents happen. But the rate of risk is probably far less than me taking a drive to the corner store.
Right.
Like the rate of actual, like, percentage-wise risk.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. It's like, you know, people like to think, ooh, this is dangerous, this is risky.
Right.
But they know on a deeper level that this is a safe activity. Right. They're going to poke at those adrenaline, you know, inducing emotions in a completely physically safe environment.
Right.
And that's how you get me on all those roller coasters, and I do ride them all.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Another thing that the film does is it calls out kid actors and haunts.
God, yeah, we got to talk about that for a few.
Yeah.
You're right.
It says that there's all these kids in all these haunts, and no one's calling social services. Well, of course not.
Why the hell would you call social services for kids in haunts?
I don't know. That was just so far left field. Because
yeah, and that was completely a random inclusion. You're right.
Yes, because kids can be actors in haunts. I've looked it up. There's very specific laws around them.
Yes.
And usually their parents are on site.
Or somewhere, usually within eyesight, not just on site, usually within eyesight.
Yes.
Like, I think we have one child actor in our haunt who the parent is off-site. But we put adults in charge of her, and she's not like a child. She's a teenager.
She's 16, 17.
Yeah, she's technically old enough she doesn't need one. She's a little bit young for my personal, security and my personal emotion. But I know her, I trust her, and I trust her mother.
And I walk the room with her.
Yeah, exactly. And we have adults in the room with her at all times.
Yeah.
And so I don't worry about it too much. And that's one of those things, it's like, child actors are in these haunts and no one's calling child service. Like, why would you?
Yeah. It's not like they're really being tortured in cages and stuff. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously. It's not a concern. Kids can be actors in haunt. We've talked about this many times.
Yeah, we actually have several episodes.
Yes, we have several opinions that deal with this.
And several episodes, even.
Yeah. Yeah, because kids can be creepy as fuck when they want to be.
It's a little bit uncanny valley. They're like people, but like small size. It's creepy.
They're like people. They're not real people.
They're not real people. They're children. We've been over this. God. I don't have, by the way, I should be clear, I don't have kids of my own.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing.
I think that comes through.
But yes, kids can be creepy. It's a little bit of uncanny valley.
Yeah, but there's no reason to call social services for kids in haunting.
There's no reason to. There's no point. And acting like no one's calling social services as some kind of, scary thing is misleading.
Well, yeah, it says that the industry inherently puts kids in dangerous positions.
Yes.
that
And it says
social services should be called.
And it says we don't care about the welfare of children.
Right.
I care more about the welfare of the children in my haunt than I care about the welfare of the children outside of my haunt.
Well,
I guarantee you.
Yeah, because we know them.
We care about them. We know them. We've talked to them. They're great. We don't know about these other rugrats that are outside the haunt. We've never met them.
Yes, that's like hundreds of them. How are you going to keep
like
track?
dozens even. It's like, we don't know them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part drove me absolutely bonkers. Like, why would you call social services because kids are in a haunt?
Right.
That by itself means nothing.
Yeah. They also mentioned several times that all of these haunts were backwoods actors, and that's why we had no regulations or anything.
And then they proceeded to visit all city haunts other than Rise.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. I would have to look into that a little bit more.
I'm reasonably sure that's at least remotely true. Hashtag alternative facts. But
yeah.
But no, but they do
there were
visit,
at least a few of them that had city skyscrapers in the background, and
Yeah, I mean, they clearly spent time at city haunts.
Yeah.
And so they clearly knew these were not all backwoods haunts. Not that backwoods haunts are a bad thing.
No, but I did love that whenever they encountered the guy from the backwoods haunt, and he's like, "What do you mean backwoods?" Because I'm like, he's good.
What do you mean? We live in Baton Rouge. It's a big city.
We're in a
My God.
That was amusing to me.
Well, look, we got like 10 minutes left.
Well, and they also said that, that it was cool to get to the haunted house early and see the actors acting like real people. Because, we're not real people.
We're not real people.
We're like kids. We're not real people.
We're not. You're not going to let me live that one down, are you? I'm seeing a pattern here.
Maybe a little bit old.
I love you.
Love you too.
But the point remains that, yes, that was... It was an extremely frustrating film as someone in the haunt industry and someone who worked at haunts, professional, amateur, who home haunts, who pro haunts, who does all the things.
Yes.
It was an extremely frustrating film. And the reason it was because this was a mainstream, granted, according to the Netflix reviews, it's not very well received.
Right.
But as a mainstream media mention of haunted attractions and a look at the haunted attraction industry, and it's highly misleading.
Yeah.
In a way that I think is, frankly, offensive to this industry.
Yeah, I think it should just be considered a pure work of fiction.
Which would be easier to do if it did not involve real haunted attractions.
And real tragedies that happen.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess the point is that we just need to be careful about how we let ourselves be represented,
Like, look, we've said it 100 times before, we'll say it again. We love Rise. We love the people behind Rise. We love the Rise attraction. We love their asylum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so great. We love the actual main haunted attraction Rise. We're going to do their escape room soon, we promise.
Yes.
This is all, we love Rise. I really wish they had not been involved with this.
Yeah, I do too. And I understand.
They're too good for this.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I understand when a film crew comes to you and says, hey, we're doing a film, we want to shoot on your lot. We
will give you money.
We will give you, maybe not even money, we'll give you mentions, we will put your name out there, and we'll lie about what state you're in. No, wait, I'm pretty sure they didn't say that part.
Probably not. They probably...
Because that's the part that really drives me bonkers.
Yes, because if it was for...
any
publicity, then they got it
Rise
wrong because it's in the wrong town.
Well, not in the wrong state. Yeah, they said Rise was in what? Texas? Eureka. What? I don't know where Eureka, Texas is, because I've never been there. But it's in Hammond, Louisiana. It's about 600 miles that away.
Yeah, and it also listed several actors by name and several haunt owners by name, and they were all there with their merch on for their haunt. By the way, guys, we need to have a serious talk
about typography. Maybe this is a future episode. I don't know how we're going to do this as a podcast episode,
Maybe it'll be an article or something.
We got to do something with this because typography does matter.
Yeah.
Like, we actually paused it a few times, and God help us, we're actually dragging this film out by pausing it, because that's a crime unto itself. But yeah, to try to figure out what haunts were being featured in it. And, it's just, we've got to be careful, because we really do live off the mythos. And the mythos is awesome and great.
No.
But like any fantasy or any fairy tale, we have to be able to separate the mythos and the reality.
Right.
Because people want to go to a haunt that fits the mythos. They want to go to a haunt that is going to be that super scary, supernaturally scary, but they don't want to go to a haunt that will actually freaking hurt them or molest them or, otherwise injure them.
Yeah. Well, in the very last interview with an actor that they had at the very end, said that they worked 5 hours a day, taking out their aggressions on customers, and that they wanted it to be the last place on earth they ever were. That the customer, that they didn't want them to escape.
Yeah.
And that's not what our industry does. We want those people to come back and pay money again.
It's like the first part is, we're 5 hours a day, we're somebody else. I get that. We're going to take out our aggressions. I get that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this the last place they ever see and ever go, whoa, wait a minute. Dial that one back a little here.
Yeah. And it's probably something that they took out of context.
I'm almost 100% sure you're right.
We want this to be the last place they want to see. They want to come back next year, that kind of thing. But it's
I'll have you know, haunted attractions thrive on repeat business.
Yes.
Killing the customers is against that idea.
Yes.
By nature, a dead customer is not a repeat customer. I'm just saying.
Right, exactly. Which is why zombies just turn you into other zombies. They don't actually kill you.
And vampires and other vampires. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
although there's a Star Talk about that, about why it wouldn't actually, take you over completely.
Really? We're getting into Star Talk now?
No. We'll leave it alone.
I suppose we should abandon that one before that gets another rabbit hole. But the point remains, though, I'm all for the mythos, but this movie really mixed the mythos and the real.
Yeah.
And with it, I think, hurt the industry.
Yeah. And I think the only reason that the industry hasn't been hurt more by it is because nobody knows about it.
This film sucks, and no one watched it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, but if they're showing it again at Rise this October, then some of their other customers who watch the video, because you're standing in line, you're going to watch it, that's what it's there for, may take a note and look it up when they get home, like we did.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be completely confused.
Yeah, that's one thing about Rise that's interesting, because it's got a queue line, and like most haunts, it's a fairly long queue line. And they're showing the usual mix of public domain horror, i.e. Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Their backstory.
Yeah.
Which actually is pretty cool. And that part I'm actually very happy with. And this.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how this benefits the industry in any way. We need mainstream mentions. We need to be out there more, but not in a way that makes us all look like rapists and murderers.
Right.
You know what? We're your brothers. We're your sisters. We're your cousins.
Your mom, your dad.
Your mom, your dad. We're your friends. We're the guy you sit next to in class. We're the guy you work next to in the cube one over.
Yeah.
We're people just like you, and we just happen to enjoy being scary.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. We're not here to kill you. We're not here to hurt you. It's just kind of a little piece of who we are.
We just all want to have a good time.
And I don't know. It's just, I found it offensive the first time I saw it.
Right.
Upon rewatching it tonight right before we recorded, I found it doubly offensive.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're in the haunted attraction industry, I'm going to actively encourage you to seek it out. It's in Netflix.
Yes.
Seek it out and watch it. Not because it's great cinema, not because it's an accurate representation of the industry, but because it tells you what other people are saying and thinking and feeling about us.
Right. Hopefully
And that's important.
not too many. It is important. And if you do watch it, be sure to leave us a comment.
Yeah, once again, leave us a comment at Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook. We want to hear what you think about this film, because while we were rightly pissed off about it, to be frank,
Yeah.
that may not be your reaction. And you know what? That's okay. We support you and your right to be pissed off or not pissed off as you see fit. That's totally on you. But yeah, this film got under our skin, and I think a lot of it is because we got picked. You and I got picked on a lot for being weird.
Yeah.
In different ways. We didn't meet each other till after a lot of the picking took place.
Yeah.
But we were picked on a lot for being weird. And a lot of the picking took the format of we probably do horrible things. Or people thought we did horrible things at the very least.
I have no idea what they thought.
But that's probably why they picked on
I just knew they were wrong.
But the point is that people thought we did these horrible things when we didn't. And this film just seems to reaffirm those ideas.
Yeah.
So on a personal level, I found it offensive because... Yeah. But you know what? Maybe you're different. Maybe you believe something different. Maybe you think this is good for the industry. I don't know. You know what? Give it a watch. Make your own decision.
Yeah, I don't see how if anybody who's a parent who watches this film to see what the industry is about would let their kid go to your haunt.
Yeah, just that's just it. Watch it to understand how it represents the haunt industry. Don't watch it for like good cinema.
Yeah.
Because like there's like continuity errors.
Oh yeah.
And cinematic errors and terrible acting and like
oh god.
Like look, we're not actually reviewing the film here because the film is shite and there's not much dispute.
Yeah, unless you ask the critics, because apparently
half of them thought it was good, according to Rotten Tomatoes. But by the way, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, was 28%.
Yeah.
Did I remember that right? So the audience seems to agree with me that it was not a good film. So definitely don't expect like any artistic masterpiece out of this. Watch it for the objective of understanding how it represents the haunt industry and make your own conclusions.
Yep. I
encourage you to do that. Like I said, we're not the end-all, be-all of how you should feel about this film. I definitely want other people to watch it. I want other people to sort of, imbibe it and interpret it.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily... I know how I feel, and I've expressed it over the course of this past
I think we've got it out there,
It fucking sucks and it's terrible.
God.
It's terrible
letters.
Yeah, we're earning that maturing this week.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got on this. Seriously, do watch it for yourself and draw your own conclusions.
Yep.
Well, you got anything else, by the way, before I do the conclusion?
No.
Okay, well, on that note, everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this was Haunt Weekly, episode number 63, discussing the houses October built, the fakementary, I love that term, by the way, thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
About the haunted attraction industry. We'll be back next week to discuss the real news, not the fake news, the real news undergoing in our industry right now. So we will see you guys next week.